Okay, so let's talk about what to do if we're talking about problems that just are what they are and really can't be changed or can't be changed that quickly. And so there's some coping and accepting you're going to have to do while change is evolving, right, and happening. So let's just talk a little bit about that. There's actually a number of different tools for one's toolkit that one can really think about. One is mindfulness.
Big word.
That's a big word, right? But I love the graphic here. Mindful or mindful, right? Because it really is different, right?
Absolutely.
To have your mind be full, and we all know what full mind is. That's what it is when we're just thinking.
Right.
Thinking. But if we become mindful, that's something different entirely. There's actually, it can be a very calming, centering, grounding kind of a thing to do to just help settle the craziness going on in our mind. And in just a few minutes, we're actually going to go through this together so that you can experience some of that mindfulness. And so looking forward to that. But also sometimes it's just a simple matter of changing your activity. So Paige, what are some of the sorts of things that people might shift gears and begin doing that can be helpful in quieting their mind and changing gears and getting out of that negative thought loop?
Well, some of the things are kind of taken from some of the things that helped create a healthy body as well. So getting up and doing some of those physical activities that we talked about, whether that's going for a 5-minute walk or going swimming. But some of the things that you can do right in the moment when you're sitting at school. So whether that is counting the number of blue things in the room, doing some things that are right there in front of you. A lot of the times I think that people don't get an opportunity to use their creative mind very often. And so one of the things that I like to encourage people to do is do something artistic related. So whether that's coloring or painting or sculpting with clay, just something that you can focus your mind on and be mindful so that you are very much focused and paying attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it.
And I think too, this is where some of that self-awareness comes in because when you're choosing an activity, there's things you can consider. I love what you were saying about the movement because sometimes literally you need to get it out of your body.
Right.
And the movement is what allows you to get all of that nervous, nasty, gross feeling energy out. It's an outlet literally for it. But some of the activities that you're talking about, the coloring, the drawing, the clay, I always think about it's something that requires your whole attention.
Exactly.
In order to complete. Because when something requires your whole attention, instead of being monkey mind, right, hopping around from one thing to the next, you're all in. You're all in on that one activity. And that, it can be extremely settling and calming.
Right. Yeah. Very focused.
Right. In the zone. Right. And you guys maybe have activities that you get in the zone with, skateboarding, basketball, hockey, those are sports, right? But for some of you, it is artistic. You're writing, your art, you're painting, you're drawing, coloring. I like coloring because sometimes people get hung up. I don't know what to draw. I don't know what to paint. So the beauty about coloring is that you don't have to get caught up and self-critical about not being able to come up with the idea. You just do what's in front of you. So sometimes that's a way in, at least to access and open up that creative part of you. Some of you maybe are musical. Right. And I know you know bands, you know music.
Absolutely. So getting an opportunity to not just practice because of schoolwork, but being able to use that creative part of you to really use it as an outlet, like Gretchen was saying, with sports and physical activities, finding an outlet and creating something out of the feelings that you're having, and also staying in the moment and being able to focus your attention and your energy on that activity.
That's right. So really think about what those activities might be for you, specifically for you, because what is for you isn't necessarily for your friend or your cousin or your sibling, right? It's unique to you. And so what fulfills you? What is it that really calls your attention and soaks you in? And then do that thing. Okay, what about connecting with others? We keep alluding to this.
Yes, and that was one of the things that we mentioned about helping others too. So this is going to pull into that as well. Not only is it good to connect to people that you already know, like in your support network, but also getting out and into the community and connecting to other people who may or may not be experiencing something that's very similar to you. So helping other people helps you to focus your attention on getting that activity done, but also lets you kind of take an outside perspective and feel the empathy towards another person, and thus makes you feel lighter because you are putting forth that energy and that drive to help somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And then related is enlisting your support. And we are going to talk actually a lot more about this in just a few minutes. But before we get there, I really want to pause for a mindfulness break. Let's together with Homer, right? Because let's face it, if Homer can do this, any of us can do this, right?
I would certainly hope so.
I would certainly hope so. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So go ahead, and this is probably, just so for your reference, this is probably going to be about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? And so just prepare yourself to settle in and relax, and feel free to get comfortable, and however that is for you, doesn't matter. Some ways that can be helpful are, if you're going to be in a seated position, to actually be seated kind of up on your sits bones, those bony bones in your behind, to get up on those, because actually when you get up on those, it's like your spine just supports itself. And sometimes that actually can help your shoulders relax and come down out of the rafters, right? So you don't have those shoulder earring kind of things going on. And so you can do that. You can actually also lay down in a comfortable position. That would be okay on your back. Typically, you can throw a pillow under your knees if you want to. You can let your hands rest on your belly, or you can lay them out to the side, palms up to the ceiling in a really open kind of a position. But the point is, get into a position that is comfortable and that allows breath just to move freely in and out. And so whatever that looks like for you is okay. If you would like to close your eyes, you absolutely can do that. If that isn't something you want to do, some nice alternatives would be to find a spot on the floor to focus on so your eyelids are still resting easily, or a spot on the wall to just focus on and let your gaze get just kind of loose and heavy. So again, whatever feels comfortable to you, and just allowing that breath, and maybe even just feeling this, like being in this kind of a comfortable position with your breath just moving freely in and out. You don't have to do anything to your breath other than just notice it, and notice it moving nice and gently in and out. So go ahead and now that you're into that position, and just you can really think about your muscles relaxing into the spot that you are. Whatever piece of furniture you're on, or if you're on the floor, just allowing your body to be fully supported. And keeping your eyes in whatever comfortable position you choose, go ahead and bring your awareness inward. Without straining or concentrating, just becoming relaxed and loose. And hearing these guidelines and deciding for yourself what you'd like to take. Just allowing your breath in and out. Very nice. So again, keeping your eyes in whatever comfortable position you choose, you can go ahead and think of a person close to you who loves you very much. It could be someone from the past or present, someone still in life or who has passed. It could be a spiritual teacher or guide. There is no right or wrong. Whoever you choose is just fine. And if you like, you can imagine that person standing on your right side, sending you their love. That person is sending you wishes for your safety, for your well-being and happiness. You may even be able to feel those warm wishes of love coming from that person towards you. Now, if you like, you can bring to mind that same person or another person who cherishes you deeply. And you might imagine that person standing on your left side, sending you well wishes for your wellness, for your health and happiness. You may be feeling the kindness and warmth coming to you from that person. And if you like, you can even imagine that you're surrounded on all sides by all the people who love you and have loved you. All of your friends and loved ones surrounding you, sending you wishes for your happiness, well-being, and health. Perhaps you find yourself basking in the warm wishes and love coming from all sides, feeling filled and overflowing with feelings of warmth and love. And now you may decide to bring your awareness back to the person standing on your right side. And you may wish to send the love that you feel back to that person, knowing you and this person are similar. And just like you, this person wishes to be happy. And so you may send all of your love and warm wishes to that person. You may even be thinking to yourself and sending to them, may you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. May you live with ease. May you be happy. May you be free from pain. Focusing your awareness on the person standing on your left side. You may wish to again direct the love within you to that person on your left, sending all your love and warmth to that person, knowing that person and you are alike. Just like you, that person wishes to have a good life. You may find yourself thinking, just as I wish to, may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease and happiness. Just as I wish to, may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease and happiness. You may wish to picture yet another person that you love, perhaps a friend or relative. And this person, like you, wishes to have a happy life. And you may feel compelled to send that person the warm wishes as well. May your life be filled with happiness, health, and well-being. May your life be filled with happiness, health, and well-being. Now, if you'd like to continue, you can think of an acquaintance, someone you don't know very well, and toward whom you don't have any particular feeling. Interestingly, you and this person are alike in that you wish to have a good life. Send all your wishes for well-being to that person. And again, repeating the phrases silently, just as I wish to. May you also live with ease and happiness. Just as I wish to, may you also live with ease and happiness. And you could bring to mind yet another acquaintance toward whom you feel neutral. It could be a neighbor or a colleague or someone else that you see around but don't know very well. And interestingly, like you, this person wishes to experience joy and well-being in his or her life. So you may wish again to send all your good wishes to that person, repeating the following phrases silently. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from all pain. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from all pain. And now in conclusion, if you like, you could even expand your awareness and picture the entire globe in front of you as a tiny ball, sending warm wishes to all living beings on the globe who, like you, want to be happy. Just as I wish to, may you live with ease, happiness, and good health. Just as I wish to, may you live with ease, happiness, and good health. And taking a slow breath in and letting it go. And another slow breath in and letting it go. You may notice the state of your mind and how you feel after this meditation. You may find it helpful to rub your fingers together, to move your legs and feet. And as you feel ready, you may come back to the room and once again be fully present. So for those of you that decided to go ahead and participate, nicely done. Nicely done. It can be helpful to take a moment and just really notice how you feel. And I should have written a note to myself to have you rate how you felt before you started it. But you might remember how you felt before you started it, right? And you might remember now and notice now how you feel now. And so what happened? You know, what just taking a moment to kind of reflect on that and what happened for you during that meditation. We will be posting links to a variety of these sorts of meditations on our resource page. So if this particular one didn't happen to ring your bell, but you kind of like the idea of doing this sort of thing, there will be some other options, as well as I will provide you a link to places where you can go to find more of this sort of thing to be helpful, so that you can find, because people really vary in the kind of voice that they like, the kind of rhythm they like, what they're hearing, the messages, and that sort of thing. And so even if this wasn't resonating with you, there may be some out there that do and would. Right. So keep that in mind. I do think, though, that the content of this particular one sets the stage well for thinking about the way in which we interact with others, because it really is about that give and take, that sending out and receiving of help and support. And we keep talking about how important that is in our stress management. We will continue to think about how this is. And the reality is that as human beings, we are wired to need human connections. And Paige, I know you've done some looking at some of the research in this area.
I have.
And they've done even work with monkeys and such,
Yes.
right? And that really speak to how much we really do need connection.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what have you learned?
Well, in speaking with the monkeys, because they're just adorable, and I am an animal lover myself, they have done research with baby monkeys, and when they are put into cages and all of their physical health needs are accounted for, in that they have milk available to them, and they have a choice between coming out of just a wire mother, quote unquote, versus one that is covered with like a washcloth or a warm cloth of some sort. They always chose to have a milk dispenser / mother that was warm, even if they were getting the same amount of milk and the same substance from the wire milk container.
So this would suggest then that it's not really about meeting just our biological needs,
right?
But that there's something else that we need.
Exactly. And in other studies, in adoption cases, where all of the physical needs of the infants are taken care of, so they are changed regularly and they're fed and they get their sleep. If they are not picked up and held by another person, they don't thrive. They don't grow. They don't meet the developmental needs that are required or expected of their age groups, and sometimes they don't make it at all. And so clearly this is hardwired into us. Right, exactly. It's something we physically and emotionally need. It is a need. It's not a bonus. It's not a right. It'd be nice if. This is something we actually need, and so hence the reason why we're putting so much time into talking about this, because it is a human need. And people sometimes, I think, particularly if social interactions are difficult or opening up and sharing is difficult for them, they want to try to minimize. Right. Like, I can just do this on my own. I don't need anybody. Right. And what we know is that that's not true. And so let's get to talking about this. And so I'm going to actually take a couple steps back and kind of talk about the importance of empathy. Empathy being really the ability to understand the world from someone else's point of view, not agree with the other person's point of view, understand their point of view. Those are two different things, and people sometimes get that mixed up. Empathy is really the foundation for a healthy relationship, and in particular, it's the foundation for healthy communication, which we're going to talk a little bit more about as well. And I think a lot of people have circumstances in which they, like, being empathic is easy, right? It's easy when we get it. Oh, you broke your leg. Oh, that stinks, right? We can relate to that. Oh, your dog passed away. That's sad. I mean, right? It's easy to be empathic in some of those situations that we get and understand. Right. And can imagine ourselves in, or perhaps have experienced ourselves, but it's not always so easy, is it, Paige? No. When is it difficult? Well, it would be very difficult to understand and be empathic with someone who you're currently arguing with. Yes, correct. Someone that you're mad at. Right. Someone who wronged you. Yes, those are challenging situations indeed. Absolutely. It's interesting. There's a couple of psychologists, Dr. Robert Brooks and Dr. Sam Goldstein. They say empathy provides the strength to change negative scripts. Empathy provides the strength to change negative scripts. Well, that's interesting, because this ties back into our thinking, right? And all those automatic negative thoughts. So what they're really saying is that empathy gives us the power to change some of that negative thinking that we have. And sometimes the negative thinking that we're having about other people that's getting in our way, that's making it difficult for us to be empathic with them, perhaps them being empathic with us. Right. And so learning how to be empathic, even when it's difficult, turns out to be super important. Really, really important. And the reality is that we all have negative scripts that we've learned over time from lots of different sources. Sometimes from our parents, sometimes from our peers, sometimes from the school environment, right? It can come from lots of places. We know it's difficult to be empathic when we're angry. We know it's difficult to be empathic when we believe someone's mission is to make us mad. Oh, I certainly know some of those people. Or when we think it's just going to get in our way somehow. Being empathic, if it's somehow going to interfere with our goals. Right? That's another situation in which it's empathic. But what we also know is that we still need to get there, even though it's hard. So how do you do that? Okay, well, one thing is to start to really think about, how does your behavior impact others? How are you showing up in your relationships? So I love to do this exercise, and I would encourage listeners to
to hit the pause button after we kind of talk about this and really write some of these answers down for yourself, because it's going to actually give you a lot of insight into yourself and into your core values and what's important to you. And it's also going to help you think about, what do you want to do differently in your relationships with other people? So think about, first of all, think about a group of people. So it could be that you're going to do this. What words do you hope your friends use to describe you? So if I go ask them, hey, what words would you use to describe Sally, right? Mm-hmm. What are the words you want them to use, that you hope that they use? It could be that it probably is that those words are going to be different than if you said, what words do you hope your teachers use to describe you? It's probably, there maybe is some overlap, but maybe not. Or your parents used to describe you, right? So you could really do this activity a couple of different times, depending on which relationships are really on your mind. And so asking yourself and answering this question, what words do I want people to use when they describe me? And make that list, okay? And so do that. And I would even hit the pause button at this point. Stop, make the list, and then hit play again. So I'll give you a second to kind of do that. Okay. So then once you've made that list, now ask yourself this: what is it that I do and say on a daily basis that would inspire people to use those words? This is usually where people go, oh, oh, well, what I want, what I say that I want, and what I'm actually showing maybe don't match.
Right.
And so you can see how this could open up some insight to you. But I've also done this exercise actually with people, if they're really having doubts about who they are, they're not sure who they are or who they want to be. Mm-hmm. And they'll start to generate these words, or they question their worthiness, or they question, am I really a good person? They have all these things, but so sometimes this is actually fact checking, and it's kind of getting to, what are you doing instead? Because, like, for example, let's say somebody says, well, I want people to think of me as kind. I want that to be one of the first things that they say about me, is that I'm kind, I'm nice, I'm a nice person. Mm-hmm. Okay, what are you doing and saying on a daily basis that would make people want to use that word, right? And maybe it is, and you're kind of, and you're one of those people that has a lot of self-doubts about your worthiness or whatever, and you start to think, well, I smile at people, I say hi to them, I check in with them, I do, right? Mm-hmm. And pretty soon this list is growing. Like, I actually do those things on a daily basis. Oh, so yeah, I guess people would be inspired. Right. Or maybe you're not doing those things on a daily basis. Maybe your anxiety is such that it stops you from smiling at people, from saying hi to people. And it's not because you're not a nice person. It's because there's a barrier in your way. Mm-hmm. Okay, so cool. You've just identified a problem. Right. Now you can move forward with problem solving. So you see how this is valuable, is that this really does help you think about yourself in relation to other people, and how you are showing up for people.
Sometimes when people have self-worth or self-image issues, it's hard to think of these generalized terms and what they do on a daily basis. So you can think, okay, well, I want them to think that I'm kind, but I'm not volunteering at the soup kitchen every day. Right, and I'm not, doing all of these amazing, wonderful things. Mm-hmm. But what are some small things that you have done today? Mm-hmm. Oh, I opened the door for that person when they were leaving Target. Right. Or, I smiled at this person because they weren't smiling and it looked like they were having a bad day. Mm-hmm. Just those little things will make a huge difference. And I'm sure that you can come up with at least a couple of them.
Well, and I know that's true, because I have the feeling that somewhere along the line you've been the recipient of one of those small kindnesses.
Right. Yes.
And it may have made a difference in your day, mm-hmm. even though it was a small thing.
Right.
And so I think that's really good to think about. All right. So let's take a step back then and reflect a bit. So we talked about some ways of coping. We did a little mindfulness exercise. We talked about empathy. Mm-hmm. Of these things that we just talked about, what's one thing, Again, a reasonable, realistic thing that you'd like to do better in one of these 3 areas. Any one of them. What's one thing? And why would you choose this thing? What's it going to do for you? What's it going to do for your relationships? Is there anything getting in your way? If so, what? And then, what are some things you can do to overcome some of those obstacles? So here we are back to problem solving again, and really thinking this through. So again, feel free to hit the pause button here. Or if you're able to watch this in segments, because I was technologically savvy enough to figure out how to do this. When you come back, we're going to talk more specifically about enlisting that support team and helping others and communicating in an assertive way. And so we look forward to that. So go ahead and hit the pause, think this through, and then we'll see you when you come back.